family. So we are back with another episode, and like our girl Villa did last week, she basically just did a nice short and sweet story time, and I'm basically going to do the same. This week what I'm going to share with you guys is something that's very personal and close to my heart, something that has taken me a while to want to share on such a public platform. It's something that me personally, I am not ashamed to sort of share with those that I meet, if the chance rises, depending on what we're discussing or whatnot. And yeah, and I honestly do feel that everything that we do go through is something that is not supposed to be sort of shunned or ashamed of, because you obviously go through it for a reason. And like that saying goes, your test only becomes your testimony. So that's where I'm at right now in my life. Those of you who've obviously been following us now for a couple of months, you would have obviously probably seen my husband tag with my husband, and you would have possibly picked up a few hints about ourselves. So we've been together for quite a long time, and it will be 17 years this year. Honestly, I've been with him for half of my life, and I can honestly say that it has been a ride, a roller coaster, lots of highs and lots of lows. So I'm going to share with you guys probably a low period in our relationship. And look, everyone's entitled to their opinion, everyone's entitled to their comments, so just please be mindful and respectful of how you may comment in regards to this story. Like, you would have known as well that Arisi and I were together at such a young age. I was 16 at the time and he was 18. Obviously for me, then he was my most serious relationship, my first real serious relationship. The ones before that were probably just like 1 week boyfriends or like a crush or whatnot. But Arisi, something about vulnerable, lol, was the one that stole my heart. So anyways, and when you're young, I don't want to say you're dumb, but I was dumb. I was young and I was dumb, and I had just fallen head over heels for a guy that honestly I probably could have waited for, to be honest. And with being young, you make lots of mistakes, and that's probably why I think now, being a parent and being older, I have much more empathy and much more understanding and that for younger teens. And I'm sort of like, it's okay, you're gonna get through this. So anyways, back then we were probably together for about 2.5 years before it took the serious turn, being that we decided to do the grown-up dance. Lol, I can't even say it. But yeah, we consummated our relationship, and at that time I was crap scared, to be honest. I was scared, and I was probably at that time in my life, I think I was searching for a love and searching for some sort of stability when it came to sort of a male figure in my life. My dad was a constant, but in regards to like what I think my mind was craving, it was Arisi, and I went for it in the wrong route. Fast forward to a couple of years later, I am about 20 now. I'd ran away from home, and I ran away from Melbourne, and I came to Sydney, and where Arisi was based at the time. And I feel like at that stage of my life, it was just like I was spiraling from like being good and just poking the fire or playing with the fire to like spiraling all the way down in the fire. Bam. 20, ran away, and what my cousin thought at the time was me just visiting and wanting to pop in and say hi and whatnot ended up being like an 8-month long stay. And honestly, I have so much love and respect for my my cousin and my sister-in-law now, but yeah, they really put up with me when honestly they really didn't have to. So I'm living in Sydney, working and going to TAFE at the time, and I'm thinking that I'm untouchable, thinking nothing can break me, nothing can tear us apart, nothing can test us. We've been through it. I'm 20, I'm grown now, and whatnot. And I start realizing that my body's changing and I'm eating different foods or wanting to eat different foods at certain times, but I wasn't putting two and two together yet. Call me dumb, call me naive, but yeah, it just, no, I didn't think anything. It wasn't until one of my girlfriends at the time approached me and was just like, girl, are you pregnant? And I'm like, what you mean? And then she's like, no, you like want to eat corned beef and dalo all the time with lemon and chili. And the tape that I went to was Granville, so we would just like walk down to the Bulla shop or the Fiji shop down the main street and just grab honestly a tin of corned beef and just get one of their like foam plates and then just go to the park and like open it up, cut up the dalo and lemon and roquette, and I'm like eating this every day, not clicking. And she's like, you've been eating that like every day. I mean, we're good and stuff, but like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good, blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was quite slender, not like now, don't be deceived. And they were just like, they started realizing that I was becoming top heavy and whatnot. So I thought, okay, well, hey, you know, let's go to the doctors. I go to the doctors and I realized it wasn't until when they start asking you questions and then they're just like, so when is your last period? And then you actually sit there and you're like, I'm dumb. Like, that's sort of the point when you're like, Shiza, I stuffed up. I took the test and when it came back positive, man, it was like I was standing in like a very dark hallway and it was just like black hallway, a black tunnel, and it was just like the doctor was like all the way at the end of the line and I'm like all the way here and I'm just like, what? He's like, you're pregnant. That came up really fast and you might be quite along. I was shook. I walked out, I told my friend, and she was like, oh my gosh, what are you gonna do? But obviously being 20, even she realized, like, I was in no position to have no child. I didn't even know how to tell Arisi. And I think I just texted him and I was like, I think I was annoyed with him first of all that day. So he hit me up and he was just like, yeah, so what are you doing? I'm like, and I think I like went back with a smart ass comment like, yeah, nothing. I'm just here sitting here with your child. Like I was just being real petty because I didn't know how to tell him. Like I didn't know how to say that I was pregnant. And I literally, and he's like, huh? What did you just say? And I'm like, yeah, I went to the doctors and I'm pregnant. That's what they said. And he calls me and then he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought I was okay. I thought I got in my period. I thought blah, 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 blah. He's like, okay. And I'm like, right. We probably sat in it for a couple of days, but the doctor did say I couldn't sit in it too long because by the looks of it, I was quite ahead. When Arisi and I eventually got together, he was just silent, but he wanted to look at me first and be like, are you playing with me? And I just broke. I remember sitting in the park and just being like, man, I stuffed up. Man, I stuffed up big time. It's different when you grow up in church and you're like in church and you know the word and you know that God is real and you have a great support around you. But when you step away from the covering, then you realize, like, in the moments that you go through it, just how far you are. And in that moment there, man, I felt like, oh, I felt like dirt. I felt like scum. I felt like a failure. Not so much because of the child, but because of me, because I put myself in that predicament. Discussions turned to tears, turned to blame, turned to what ifs, turned to what do we do. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I came up with the decision or Rissy came up with the decision, but the decision was mutual, where we were sort of coming to the point of, I think we're going to have an abortion. The tears is not because of the guilt of it. The tears is just remembering the pain. Because honestly, I couldn't be here today, and I couldn't be the parent today if I didn't move on from that season in my life. Come the day of the procedure, the nurse has me down on the table. I just remember it being so cold, and I just remember it being, Orisi was there with me, and I just remember it being so, like, I was just alone and no one was there with me, and I didn't even think to tell my mom, to tell my dad. I just was something I thought, I'm just gonna battle this alone. That's what I chose. And the nurse asked me, do you want to see the monitor and see your baby? And I was like, no. I just remember turning my head away and just being like, no, because I felt like there was just like this, you know, like this battle within myself. Like, if I see this baby, I'm gonna keep it, but I need to, like, not bring the shame to my family, not bring the shame to Reese's family, and just, we need to do this together. It's all done. I battled for a couple of years, to be honest, and that brought me into a bit of a depression, and just like 1 year anniversary of it, and just I came back home, and you know, my parents were always open door policy anyway, and they came to know about it. My mom was just distraught, and my dad was just speechless, to be honest. And they were just like, I wish you told us. Like, I wish this was something that we tackled together as a family. And years later, obviously, I did also speak to my Nay about it, and my Nay was just also speechless, and my Nay being mother-in-law, speechless, and just as like, you know, I think our parents just came to the consensus, like, okay, that's done now. We wish you didn't do it, but we'll love you both regardless. We get married in 2009, so that's about 5 years later, I'm thinking. No, 2 years later, we get married. 3 years later, gosh, my brain is fried. We get married, and I fall pregnant within the first couple of months of being married, and I'm excited, and I'm like ready, and I announce it just prematurely. But I think by this stage, according to calculations, I probably would have only been like 6 weeks. And normally they generally say that women should only announce after the 3-month mark, because you're less likely to have an abortion, have a miscarriage, my bad. So I announce, I'm like, oh my gosh, and everyone's excited, and I'm feeling the love, and I'm just so excited. Anyways, come to the day of having to listen to the heartbeat, and I find that they couldn't find the baby just yet. They were like, oh, baby must be really small. We'll just have to give yourself a couple of weeks. We'll take blood tests, Blood tests turned out to be fine, and everything was coming out perfect with blood tests. But when it came to the ultrasound, they just kept on saying, we'll give it a couple of weeks, or we'll give it a week, or we'll give it a week. Eventually, according to the HCG levels, which is my hormone level pregnancy, they realized it had spiked so high. And on the last ultrasound, they sort of said, look, we're going to check you out now properly. We're going to check you out just to see, just to rule out all factors of what we might think this is, to then know what we're going to do next. I decided to go to that ultrasound by myself because I didn't want my husband to sort of, I didn't want to feel like I disappointed him in a sense. I don't know why I felt like that. So I went, and then they eventually told me that I had a chemical pregnancy. Look, a pregnancy is a pregnancy, but I feel like with just anything, whether it be ectopic or whether it be a chemical pregnancy, the feelings are still the same. I still felt cravings. I still felt nauseous. I had, you know, aversions to smell and calm. I had motion sickness with this particular pregnancy, and it felt real to me. So at that time, when they told me it was a chemical pregnancy, I was lost for words. I did not know what it is that my body had done to have come to this, or why. Like, everything was like, why? The drive home, I remember driving home to my husband, it was just a blur, because I was just crying out to God, like, I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what's going on. And I don't even think I cried out to God. I was just like, what is this? What is this? What is this? I reach home and I literally look at my husband, and I'm like, I couldn't even grab him. I couldn't even hold him, but he knew something was wrong straight away. And I'm like, there's no baby. I have a chemical pregnancy, and I have to have surgery, or I have to have a procedure done. And I remember seeing like I don't know whether it's disappointment or pain in his face, but he was trying to keep it together for me, because he knew I was already like breaking down. So he's like, babe, it's gonna be okay. You go and lay down. I go and lay down, and I'm in the bed, and I'm literally tossing and turning. It's like 11 o'clock still. It's early because I had an early appointment. And I remember just sitting, rolling and tossing in bed, and that's when I cried out to God, and I'm like, why, God? Why are you doing this to me? I'm like, I'm married now. Everything's good. I just want to be a mom. I just want to carry a child. And my body has failed me. You have failed me. And I'm like weeping under the blanket. And I'll tell you this now, only 3 times have I ever heard God's voice so clearly, like a whisper. And in that moment, he said to me, this is how I felt when you had your abortion. My eyes and me and wise turned to, sorry, God. Thank you, God. And I surrendered to God, because I realized then that he was not trying to take something that's so good for me. But in that moment, I was having to learn something, and that learning and that heartbreak was what I needed to go through to understand that season in my life. This day and age, I am now a mother of 4 beautiful kids. 4 kids that I am very cautious in saying thank you to God and very cautious in how I am as a mum, but I am a strict mum. I'm a crazy mum. I think people that look at my my personal account on Facebook and they're just like, dang, this woman does too much. And honestly, having gone through all that is the reason why I do so much. Because I realized how a stupid decision when I was young, to the possibility of not being able to, in my mind, not being able to have a child, to finally being a mom. I went through it to get to now. And I'm humbled. And I'm truly humbled. And I can only pray and wish that as women we experience this, because just the love and support, because I don't know who may be watching and who may have gone through this season, or who may be going through it, who probably not has yet gone through it, or who knows someone possibly that is going through it. Be that support, be that prayer, be that non-judgment person. I know that I had people in my corner that could have probably swayed me to have maybe had that child, but everything happens for a reason, and now I'm here today to be a testament and to use what I went through as an encouragement to others. I don't allow what I went through being something that I'm ashamed of, because I realize that it's only made me the person that I am today. So I'm not judgmental, and I don't have my noses up at people to be like, girl, you stuffed up. No, that's far from who I am as a person. I've realized that everything that I've gone through in my life is for this particular moment. So I am speaking to you, that young girl, that young guy that may have a girlfriend, or that future person that may come across someone that is going through that. Be that source of encouragement, be that voice of reason. Reach out to them, pray with them, assure them. I know I've spoken like at least 2 of my very close friends out of having an abortion, and honestly, they do not regret it to this day, having beautiful kids, and not once thinking, oh gosh, what if I would have been single, or whatnot. So I can only pray that this is an encouragement to you guys, and yeah, that you guys will understand my story, my heart, and to those that are in my circle that possibly may know me now, you know why I'm just obsessed with my kids, and I'm pretty hardcore for my kids, and I'll do so much for them, all with the Lord's grace, to be honest. And I'm very blessed and lucky that the Lord has kept Arisi and I together, because I know a lot of couples that have gone through this and have not endured the season, and have not endured seasons after that. And to be honest, those type of rough patches have probably made us stronger as a couple as well, and we still go through it as well. That's not to say that we sit here perfect and high and mighty, but we definitely go through it. So yeah, continue to be that source of encouragement, continue to love everyone, because you don't know their journey, you don't know what they've been through. But also to those that might have gone through it, do not be ashamed, because your sin does not define you, your past does not define you. It is not who you are now, because it's not who I am now. I'm far from being that person that was so insecure and indecisive and just scared and just a little girl. Like that's not me anymore. So I hope that this wasn't too deep for you guys, and I can only pray that you hear my heart and you're encouraged. And thank you to Vilo and Timo, she's gonna kill me, girl. Tima and Vilo for allowing me to have this platform just this week to be able to share my heart. So love you guys, appreciate you guys, and remember to like, share, and subscribe.